Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the I Am CEO podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Sushee Perumal of MaxSold. Sushee, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Super excited to have you on. And what I wanted to do was just read a little bit more about Sushee so you can hear about all the awesome things that he's doing. And Sushee is the CEO of MaxSold, which provides a 3-step, 11-day process to sell everything for those downsizing or settling in an estate. Sushee created an 8-figure, customer-focused, fast-growth organization from the ground up with 500-plus employees across the United States and Canada. Sushee is a pilot with a commercial and instrument rating and holds a master's in business administration and a degree in electrical and computer engineering. Sushee, are you ready to speak to the IMCEO community?
Absolutely excited to get into this.
Awesome. Let's do it. So they kick everything off. I wanted to hear a little bit more about what I call your background and what led you to start your business.
Yeah, I met with a local auctioneer, and he was providing a service that was completely unique. Like he's a live auctioneer, and he's as a second generation live auctioneer. Like the traditional bid calling where they get up on this. I can't do this. I wish I could. They get up on stage and recite the numbers really fast on what the bids are going for. I do speak fast, but I'm not that fast.
Right. That's a true gift, right?
So he goes into clients' homes to mostly to sell the goods that they have for sale due to a downsize or an estate settlement. And he was getting really unhappy about telling no to every client that a live auction would not meet their requirements because the cost of goods are falling. The number of people downsizing and settling in a state, that's increasing. Mm-hmm. We have about 10,000 people every single day turning the age of 65, celebrating their 65th birthday. Mm-hmm. So as the population demographic grows, as a flood of goods get into the marketplace, less and less people are interested in selling the stuff that they have. He has seen a lot of his peers, like fellow auctioneers, get into specialty auctions. They sell really high value, unique things like coins, stamps, original art, and other higher value items, while you couldn't really hire an auctioneer in the traditional sense to sell everything that you own. Mm. So that is a big gap that he saw in the marketplace that kept widening. So he wanted to come up with a mechanism that replaces a live auction, but it still gives the high touch the live auction does. So not a Craigslist, not an eBay, not a Letgo, not a Facebook marketplace, but something that provides the same level of service an auctioneer would provide. So our paths crossed, and I was really interested in entrepreneurship and creating something that serves a need in the marketplace. And the domain expertise, you have the classic domain expertise, and you have the classic, really young, enthusiastic, like a ball of energy type guy that just wanted to execute out of the MBA program. Mm-hmm. And I sunk my teeth into it, and here we are. This is our, we'll be completing our 10th year next month, or next year rather. Awesome. We've grown to 20 states, 3 provinces, 500 employees. We do about 5,000 auctions, or serve 5,000 clients, wow, every year, and that number has only been increasing.
Nice. Well, I definitely appreciate that. I think a lot of the beauty of technology is sometimes you have those kind of services, like you mentioned, the auctioneer, and you're able to go there and you're able to have that experience. And it's always hard to kind of recreate that, from a technology standpoint. But it's great to hear that you guys have been able to do that, to recreate that, and even sounds like scale that I imagine to a higher level than what it could have been if it was just one person doing it.
Right. Completely.
Nice. So I wanted to drill down a little bit deeper. I know you touched on a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more about MaxSold, what exactly you guys are doing and how it works?
Yeah, we provide a three-step, 11-day process to sell everything, and by everything I mean the art on the wall, the fine china, the figurines, even the cleaning supplies under the sink. So we do that with a local expert help process. So as long as like our minimum, we don't have a minimum volume threshold, but it's ideal for somebody who's downsizing or settling in a state, have 20-30% of their household to clear out. We charge 30% plus $700. So that's we set out to create like the Dunkin' Donuts of the auction industry, or the McDonald's of the auction industry, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If you call service providers, they all hem and haw, ask if you have sterling to sell. They ask if you have a vehicle. They ask if you have high-end artwork, because it's not worth their while to even like get in the car and come see you if you don't have those high-value things. But with us, as long as you're okay with our fees, we are happy to serve you. So we want to create that really nice, repeatable, predictable, um, clearly defined process of clearing out an estate, downsizing, liquidating a business, or a inventory clear out, whatever it is. So if you have a high volume of items to sell, we provide that local expert help service in 35 metros in the US and Canada. So our buyers, it's a marketplace. So on the seller end, we have that our main bread and butter is a downsizing and estate sale.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a 30-year-old and you can operate an app, like you might be using our do-it-yourself to photograph catalog, put it online. We do all the marketing, we do all the collection of payments, and you would supervise the removal of the items. Where on the fully managed side, we look after it from start to end. And as a buyer, you get access to like incredible items in your local community. So we don't ship the goods. So you would use a service to bid on the items, and as opposed to waiting for shipping, you would just go next block or like a short drive to pick up the items at the designated pickup time, date, and location, which would be at the client's house, and we would supervise those removal of the items.
Nice. I definitely appreciate, and I knew you had a lot of different kind of people that were, I guess stakeholders might be the right word, that are using the site, because it is essentially a place that brings so many people together to be able to sell, but also people to be able to buy, and people that are downsizing, as you mentioned, and so many of those life occurrences that are happening. So it's great to hear that you have that systematized process so that it makes it super easy for everybody that's involved.
Yeah, completely. Easy is what we go for. 3-step, 11 days, everything sold.
Nice. Absolutely. So, and I know you might have already touched on this, but would you consider that to be kind of like your secret sauce? What makes you guys unique? Or it could be for you, or it could be for your organization as well.
Yeah, and the unique aspect is really, that we don't cherry pick. Like if you call a local auctioneer or go to a consignment place or call a local provider, they are really interested in this family heirloom, the sterling silver or the pristine china collection. But our unique selling proposition is, like we can sell everything. Like if you have it, we'll sell it. Like if you have a volume of items that need to get sold, no problem. Like we can do it. So that's really unique. Everybody else seems kind of distracted by either the technology or by the shiny objects, versus like with us, like we have said, our market is clear. Like it's a really underserved market. It's really hard to execute because it requires a lot of operational discipline, as well as marketing discipline, as well as a lot of logistical and operational constraints, because we can execute a service in 35 metros with our local team of over 500 people. So a new organization or an existing organization to come in and provide that service in even one market is really difficult, because it's a marketplace, right? You got to have the buyers, you got to have the sellers, you got to have a team, you got to have the infrastructure. So there's a lot of things that make it kind of the secret sauce. It's all of those elements coming together that really make it work. And it wasn't easy. It was really hard to overcome that chicken and egg problem. Like, do we get sellers first or do we get buyers first? Right?
Right.
So yeah, that's really a unique selling proposition, is really making all of that work. When a client hires us, they're really getting a $10,000 solution for that $700 plus 30%, because there's a dedicated support team, there's a dedicated marketing team, there's an operations team, there's that local expert help. There's about 3.2 million users on the website. So if you have somebody with an extensive doll collection, we have 100 bidders who collect dolls and can compete on bidding up those dolls, as opposed to putting it in a garage sale and hope somebody would show up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I definitely appreciate you for expounding upon that a little bit more. And I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this might be an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient.
This is my favorite part, because a hack is really something that's really hard to sustain over time, which is continuous learning. Like, I'm always reading, and I'm always like listening to a podcast, and not like all day long, because then you don't get any work done.
Right.
You need to balance it, but at least 30 minutes, like to an hour a day. Like when I go running, I'm listening to a podcast. Just before I get to bed, like I'm reading something for 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. And this is a word of wisdom or piece of advice, or if you can hop into a time machine, what would you tell your younger business self?
There are no silver bullets. It's a whole bunch of lead bullets, because like everyone is focused on, that big red easy button. And there's that elusive search for that silver bullet that's going to solve all your problems. Right? And millions have been made on salespeople or technologies or like consultants saying, like on selling you the dream, right? Saying, hey, I get your business. It can be $1 billion business, and and here are the things we could do. Or they speak in really vague terms, right? Like intent, but when you drill down on it, you realize, well, can you afford the search for that silver bullet?
Right.
If you look at any business, there's no single channel. It's a whole bunch of different channels that work together.
Right.
So really, you have to be focused on, the big domains, right?
I love that perspective. And now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So Sushee, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Oh, yeah, great question. Like I don't think there's it's really like, it's like the definition of CEO is really what the individual brings to the table. Like Steve Jobs is a different kind of CEO from, let's say, Lee Iacocca, right? Like the chairman of Chrysler. So they are completely different, separate individuals, each with their different strengths. And to me, the CEO needs to continuously deliver growth by identifying the gaps and resources, whether it be resources in your team or resources in what the customer needs, and being able to constantly pull that puzzle together. So in your mind, the puzzle is already solved. Like you already have a beautiful vision or picture of what your company is going to look like in the future. So you're really like putting those pieces of puzzles together, and it can vary day by day, but essentially it comes down to using your unique skills, capabilities, talents to pull that picture together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that definition and that perspective, because a lot of times you have to have that vision, and sometimes that vision isn't always, I should say, clear to you, and definitely may not even be clear to your clients, but you have to be able to kind of do those things that you kind of talked on about, the hacks of making sure that you're reading, staying abreast of things, listening to podcasts. And I think the image can sometimes become a lot clearer, and you can provide that service to your clients, not just today, but 5-10 years down the line. So I love that definition, love that perspective. And I truly appreciate your time. And what I wanted to do was pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And then, of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about MaxSold and all the awesome things you're doing.
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much. The company MaxSold.com is great if you If you're just looking to buy things, if you want to sell, maxsold.com/sell or 1-833-MAX-SOLD. Easy phone number, toll-free number to remember, 1-833-MAX-SOLD. And it's a really easy 3-step, 11-day process to sell everything. And if you mention this podcast name in how you heard about us, you get $100 off of a service. So yeah, I want to make that available to your listeners. So 3-step, 11-day process to sell everything. And the best way to get in touch with me is to go to maxsold.com/contact, where you'll find all the contact details. And yeah, like, good work with the show. And I think it's, CEOs and wannabe CEOs and CEOs currently look in making progress need all the resources that they can to contribute to the world and to build their businesses. So good show. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm super excited about this show, super excited about everything you're doing, and I appreciate you and all the awesome things that you're doing. We will have those links in the show notes as well so that everybody can follow up with you and take advantage of those offers you gave to us as well. But Sushee, thank you so much again for your time, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM401.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO Gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.